Butterfly, fly here with me.
How you doing? Welcome to the summer house. Well, the summer house as it is in autumn. In fact, I thought I'd better do a few little videos out of here. Or just spend some time out here, actually, before it's too late to spend time out here. Because the weather's going to be changing very soon, and I imagine it's going to get way too cold to sit out here. So I thought I'd just take a moment and just hang out here, maybe sing a song or two, and put some reflections together for some of the videos coming along. So the next few songs you might have me in my summer house in autumn mode, just giving you insight into some of the ideas that come into my mind, and exploring ideas is not about solving a problem all the time. It's not about drawing a conclusion per se, but it's about, I don't know, just enjoying the experience of life where there's mystery. I think one of the, it's hard sometimes when things ain't going our way or things haven't gone as planned. It's sometimes hard to see the beauty in this mystery we're in. And sometimes in the business and life, we're too busy to even contend with any mystery that we might consider in the world. We're too busy. Busy with important things. Working out your relationships, doing your job, looking after your children. It's all really busy stuff. But I think everyone has these moments in between all that, where you just find yourself in a place where you have a big thought. And as a musician, I've had these thoughts all my life, contended with these bigger ideas. If somebody gives me an idea or tells me a different viewpoint on the world, however the conversation might go, whether I've been open to the idea in the conversation or not. And in my life, I've probably gone through various stages of being open and closed-minded over different points. Now, but increasingly, my mind has been, honing in continuously on the idea of love. And not necessarily just the dictionary version, which is about, being passionate about something, or falling in love with somebody physically. It's a bigger thing that I feel like I've been honing in on, and it's something that seems to, the more I hone in on the idea of love, this open-handed, this thing that allows us to all be free, I am saying is in the concept of love. I don't know if I can possibly explain the grandeur of the idea of love that's been formed in my mind for years now. And the irony is, I had the whole thing from the moment I fell in love with anything. The concept, I became a Christian when I was 7 years old. But I didn't sign up for Christianity in terms of the religious ceremonies or practices or anything like that. I didn't sign up for those things. As much as I'd seen those things around and enjoyed some of them or not understood some of them, I found some of them very, disconnected from where I was as a child. But what I signed up for was love. This idea that, you know, where this life has all come from, you know, out of that mystery of how we have become to be alive as we are, you know, that was someone that loved and created and loved what they'd made, and they loved me, and it was about life itself valuing me as an individual person, you know, not to anyone else's discredit, you know, it's not to raise me above anybody else, but to say, actually, you can be worth the whole world. You can be worth more than anybody else in the world, yet at the same time be the same value as them. You know? And that's a big part of what I explore in my music, or I explore when I'm listening to people. You know, this concept that every person is valuable to 100%, that if they were the only person here, they would all be worth the life and the world that's been made, is a massive idea. That's what I fell in love with as a child. You know, that life, God, the source of everything, is in love with who I am as a person. Like a father loves his children. And yes, you know, all fathers and mothers, we are all fallen, or we're all less than we would hope to be in those roles. But, you know, the idea that there is someone over the whole thing who is interested in me as an individual amongst all of the other important, valuable individuals is a massive, massive idea to have continuously on your mind throughout life. Yeah. And it seems to me, even more so looking at all this music that I've been listening to and pondering through my whole life, pretty much now, it seems to me that I ain't the only person that thinks this way. I'm not the only person longing for this kind of love that's bigger than your lovers, bigger than your mum and dad's love, bigger than your friends' love, bigger than all the circumstances that we can sometimes face. So that when we're in these moments of feeling on our own, there's like this whisper, or this loud yet whisper of hope that there is something yet to come, or something, life is got more to offer us. And the one question I've always had when I was young, the first ambition I ever had was to be a good person, and it was about, I don't know, I guess I wanted to, you know, and that concept was probably more a case of, actually I didn't want to be somebody that caused my mum trouble. I probably still did, in spite of my best efforts. Of course, lots of trouble. But I didn't want to deliberately be unkind to my mum or my dad. You know, I wanted to be a good person. I didn't want to be someone that's, you know, where the reports come in that I've done this and I've done that and done the other, despite the fact they probably did come in at different occasions. And the ones when I didn't get it, I was just really clever not to get caught or something. But inside, that was a real desire, I guess, or something I wanted to aspire to. And I've always found whenever I make steps to aspire to being kind and caring, and I've made those bigger steps, try to change how I do things, those things get highly contended. Highly contended, I don't know why. And it's from anything. It could be another. It could be someone in your family, um, or anything. Um, I mean, part of the coming, falling in love with this idea that God loves me was toe in toe with wanting to be kind, like He has been told me He is kind. I'm willing to be that for other people. And I remember, I said the prayer from my heart. I say prayer like that because it is a religious ceremony bit, but actually in that context, I was having a real personal moment. It was a real personal moment of choice for me, even as a 7-year-old, that this is something that I wanted to live by, I guess. Even if a 7-year-old you don't really know, but it just sounded like a really good idea, a good deal. And not only just for this, knowing I'm loved now, but knowing I'll be loved forever. And, if you don't believe in the forever, happily ever after, or the heaven forever, then you won't even connect. I don't know how you can connect to all the songs that have use the word forever. Anyone that's fallen in love and written a song about it tends to use the word forever, even though they can't, promise forever. We're all destined in this story to die at some point. It's an impossible promise. Or is it impossible? Because nobody knows what's coming down the road. But it's just a bit of indication that being gone might not be gone forever. Hope arises in all of us, and it ain't just from Christian perspective. There seems to be hope that people can live on beyond, and actually people have been living beyond their life forever. Certainly in history, people's names have been remembered and recalled, and it's quite amazing. There has been this massive life journey forever as people, from thousands of years to billions of years. Whichever concept you want to take, is still a heck of a lot of time in comparison to our everyday life. To think I'm literally sitting in a summer house in a place that would have been in the middle of a forest with, I don't know, all sorts of generations of people passing through, hunters finding their deers, or kings marching through the countryside of forests to claim new lands, or people trying to build homes, all sorts of stuff. Massive concepts. And I'm just waffling, but the point I was originally trying to make before I kind of lost myself is okay, so people tell me, oh right, okay, this person's so bad, you shouldn't be kind or caring to them. Or if I say about being kind to somebody that's done something awful, they're like, why would you do that? And maybe talk me out of it. Or tell me I shouldn't be so kind. I shouldn't let people walk all over me. I shouldn't let people take advantage of me. It's an extreme level. Why would you do that? It's, they deserve what they deserve. Treat people the way they treat you. If they treat you kind, fair enough, treat them kind. But if they ain't, no. If they slap you, slap them back. If they steal your money, go take some money back. And actually, just for their insubordination, take their money and give them a boot as well. In fact, anyone that does anything unkind to me deserves to die, probably. And there's lots of angry people I feel so angry when people do something to you, and we're not. No one's immune from anger. I think anger is a normal emotion. You know, the other day I was driving back, and we were driving back. I'd taken Grandma to hospital for an operation, and a small operation. And we came back, and on our drive home, because we've got roadworks going on outside our house, it happens that the beginning of the roadwork starts right outside our house. So you've got the cones start literally from outside of our drive. And what happens is, you got the two lanes. The cars love to drive down the lane that's going to be closed off and come in at the last minute, and it drives everyone mad because road etiquette says you shouldn't do that. You should have got in way down the road. Not that there's much road because there's a roundabout at the end, but that's the idea. And what happened was the lorries, because they're the bigger cars or bigger vehicles, they decide to take control, and they start, blocking that lane. And so I'm coming along to go in my drive, start indicating, but the problem is there's a lorry veering out like this. Okay. He was so presumptuous to pull out that by pulling out he couldn't see me indicating I'm indicating the wrong way. I'm indicating to go into my driveway, and the guy pretty much tried to ram me off the road. Fortunately, and I could see what was kind of going on, and I came up onto the curb because you can. There's a driveways there, and it's a bigger pavement area. And fortunately, the lorry was just pretty much outside my house, so I can come up into my driveway. But the guy was doing something so dangerous because he thinks I'm trying to get into the lane. As much, he was trying to take control of, stop bad behaviour. But the irony of that situation is actually, as much as there's road etiquette and the idea of being polite, that's associated with going into the lane that's not being closed as early as possible, the reality is the law allows you to drive in that lane all the way to the end. From that point, you've got to merge. The day before, I'd seen a police car in the queue of traffic, big police car in the queue of traffic outside my house, letting these drivers into the lane at that last minute point. Why? Because it's not illegal to be in that lane. It might be very rude. It might be very frustrating. It can sometimes add to the congestion. But so does everyone queuing up in the same lane up to the roundabout, where people can't even get into the lane because they can't even get into the road from the roundabout because people don't use both lanes to the last point to a degree. I'm not saying what the rule should be, but I'm saying what the law is and what etiquette is. A policeman who has the authority to dictate when somebody's driving poorly did not stop those people, and yet a man in a van or a lorry, an Arctic lorry, wants to ram me and an old lady just off the road because we want to park in our driveway that happens to be there. Of course, eventually, I park my car in the driveway, and by then he's realised what was happening, and then was apologising. And I wasn't very pleased about it because it was very, very dangerous. But anyway, these things of etiquette and being good and kind is all part of this being good. What is it to be good? And if good is so bad, okay, if being good, if you're goody, You know, Ned Flounders trying to be good, and everyone's mocking you for trying to be kind, mocking you because you're making yourself look weak for somebody else to look stronger than you. If that's such a bad idea, right? If that's such a bad idea, why is it that bad intentions or bad people with very bad intentions, why is it that their most effective tool that they go to is to disguise themselves as good? Why? Why is that? You know, if a man just smashes through your front door and grabs all your stuff and legs it out the door, you know, he's definitely done the bad thing. Okay, and hopefully, if the security's around and the things are in place, that person will be cool. Thrown to jail. I'll tell you why people rely on being good as a disguise for bad intention. It's because it's actually very effective. Not only is it very effective because you build trust with other people and you build all that kind of stuff, but the fact is, afterwards, you can get away with it. Yeah. Get away with murder if you can disguise yourself enough. And it's just been such an effective tool of, I would say, the last, century of people making themselves to look a certain image to get away with ill intention. It's been so effective that now all gentlemen, all good kind men, okay, all good kind men who have not got necessarily direct ill intent. If I go to pick up somebody's, if an old lady's dropped her luggage or dropped her bag of shopping or dropped her purse, if I go to help that woman or that old lady or whoever and pick up that bag, I can guarantee they would first suspect me of wrong. I remember going through town and it was my last birthday. It was my birthday a couple of years ago, and I remembered having a day out, and I went into the town and I saw this old man and his wife struggling with shopping. They were really struggling with it, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be kind, and I just went and picked it up and helped them carry it to their car. It weren't very far. And they were so shocked because I didn't ask for anything. I said, no, it's fine. Like, you just, it's just being kind. And they said, I wish there was more people like you. Well, there is more people like us, I think, that want to be kind. Unfortunately, bad people, or I can't say bad people, because I think people are just people. We all have free choice whether we want to be good or bad every day. But if you're somebody that's choosing to be ill-intended, you can, over time, take away the trust in good people. And it's like, to really get away with a lie effectively, you have to look like the truth. You need to look genuine to get the lie away. And how to look genuine, it's like the best fake note in the world will look exactly like the real thing. And actually, if somebody was able to if somebody was able to go to the lengths, so if we take the British £10 note that is printed in a very printed in the royal chambers of wherever that kind of money is made, and it has a whole load of science and engineering that goes into making that note uncopyable to that degree, that you can always tell a fake. But if it was really possible, if you were able to take a lie to an extreme in a fake note, you would end, if you'd really take it its full length of accuracy, you end up with the same thing. And the only difference between the Queen's £10 note and your perfect copy, absolutely perfect, untraceable copy, the only difference between the two is the heart intent of the person that made it. The £10 note of sending English money is, in a sense, the Queen or the King sharing their wealth with a common person. Okay? And the copy is the common person taking the Queen's authority or the King's guarantee and using it falsely. And the reason why that £10 note might work in a shop is not because of your own authority, it's not coming. It's your cleverness. Maybe you've done it, whatever. But actually, that fake note still relies upon the genuine to really have any grounds. Because if it looks like a Mickey Mouse Disneyland £10 note, it ain't gonna fly. It ain't gonna work. The closer it can get to the original, the actual, the genuine Queen's or King's backing, the more effective that note is. But that note still relies on the genuine thing. A gold coin can only be genuinely seen as gold because there is a gold coin. Actually I prefer gold coins where chocolate's involved, and we're coming to Christmas soon and we'll be getting loads of gold coins. But the line between what is true and genuine and what is false and fake can sometimes get very muddy or it gets very particular to a certain point. If the lengths to go to show something's genuine can be mimicked and taken to such an extreme that the fake or false gets the stamp of genuinity from what is genuine. I don't know if genuinity is actually even a word, probably make one up there. The point of the matter is, it literally comes down to the intent and who created it. That truth. And maybe what if the Queen's £10 note and the layman's £10 note, what if the only reason that both can have any bearing on truth is because of the fact that they exist? The Queen exists and the layman exists. The King exists, the layman exists because we exist. In fact, this cup of tea wouldn't fly. It wouldn't work if it wasn't here. if if I wasn't here to enjoy it, we wouldn't have this moment. You know, we come up with lots of ideas about how life works and, you know, what is true and what's not true and what's real and what's fake. Well, actually, all of those concepts are only possible because there is life, because we are here, we are in this moment, and we seem to be fully aware, you know, unless we've, you know, got some damage to our body or brain or something, to disable us from having those kind of senses or be able to experience this situation. You know, we say about what, you know, waking up from a dream by knocking ourselves on the head. You know, am I awake? Is this real? You know, because sometimes you have a dream that seems real, but you wake up and you think, oh wow, it's just a dream. And sometimes you're going through life thinking, man, is this a nightmare? Wake me up. Or you're, you know, you know, standing next to a woman that you love or a person that you've fallen in love with, and, you know, the moment where they say they love you back is a brilliant feeling. Brilliant feeling. A very deep, profound feeling. A mystery, you know, it can make you want to love that person forever, even though you can't even promise that from your perspective. But maybe you know within yourself that there's something about life that seems to give us a hope that we might yet still be able to go on further down the road somehow. And, you know, what if this life, this concept of life itself, the boundaries of which everything else exists, even all of our ideas, are only possible because we're alive and here. I've formed. I'm here. I'm real. That's as real as you can get. I mean, yeah. All I guess I'm trying to say is some of this stuff gets very confusing. Yeah, actually, when we're trying to define what is genuine and what is fake, you know, I said about the moment someone tells you they love you back when you fall in love with them, but you know, you can have the opposite of that experience in life where somebody says they never loved you. And it's very hard because then you've had a whole history, you know, you've got a journey of life, you know, for whatever long period, where you're like, well, it felt real to me. It felt genuine to me, yet now you see it differently. And, you know, and their perspective can be totally true. You know, we make our choices, and, you know, sometimes we don't always fit into, you know, when we make these choices, we start a job or do something, we don't quite fit into it as we thought we would. And, you know, it's difficult in relationships of any kind like that. But, like, you know, the genuine and the false thing, what is fake and what is real, you know, the King's Note is just as real as the phony note, because both were made by a real person. But the intent is, you know, the king's wealth shared, and the layman stealing the authority of the king's name. But what if you had a king that was so in love with the people that he looked over, like he was prepared to let them get away with fake notes? What if there was a king out there that was so in love with the people that when they went into a shop with a Mickey Mouse £10 note to try and buy something they need or even wanted, maybe it's something they didn't even need, it was just something they wanted off the cuff, And when the shop owner rings a authority, they say, "Oh, direct line to the king," because every shop has direct line to the king. What should we do about this? He's coming with a Mickey Mouse £10 note, and he says, "That's all right, I'll cover it." I don't know. Brilliant idea, though, isn't it? These are ideas. I think they're in songs all the time. Like they're trying to find out what is real and what is fake, but actually realising that sometimes all those things are true, and yet all truth can be fake, or not fake, but secondary truth, because actually the only reason we can have those things is because the truth that we all exist and have the capability and are able to have these big ideas and thoughts. A conscience, a freedom to think big thoughts, and this is an amazing thing that we seem to have as human beings, as people. Wow. And all these ideas go into music. Whatever you believe, whatever truth you've experienced in your life, is all genuine, because existence is genuine. I hope so, as this won't help me wake up. Not that I'm that tired, but I worked late last night. Well, things you might notice is that I get lost in my own sense of wonder in the world, and I get lost in my own workings out of what is right and wrong, what is true, what is false, and what is ethical and what is not. This is a real body. This is a fake jumper. This fake jumper was made by real people. Even if those real people had some machine to make it. But yet, actually, this jumper is the jumper of somebody that's got wealth to have a jumper. And sadly, the reality of the truth of our life is that this jumper could have been made by somebody that had no wealth. The fibres made by someone that had no wealth. The cities we live in, were made by the poor, under the rule of the rich. But yet the rich were able to be rich because they were enabled by those that were poor. Those who had real genuine authority were given authority by the real genuine people under their authority. I don't know. Here's me again, waffling on, going crazy. Life is such a brilliant idea, and love is such a brilliant idea, and music, songs, just seem to be full of life in all of aspects of life, and all these ideas. It's truly amazing. But yet you still got to go to B&Q and get bits for your house. You still got to love your kids and do your best. You still got to go work. You can't sit down pondering the whole time like them. You have to go out and live your life. But in living your life, it's good to have these moments where you're taking in big concepts, or battling with these concepts, or pondering over these things. And when you're a musician, it's these ponderings that tend to go into songs. There we go. So, enjoy the weather. It's getting cold soon. See you later.
We were always meant to be.